Neno hili si hivyo. Mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that the video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, Rigathi Gachagua must go back to the drawing board, and Rigathi Gachagua must call for a meeting with his inner team. I'm saying this with a very clean heart, because over the weekend, Rigathi Gachagua was in Murang'a County. And during that tour, which in my view was very successful, Rigathi Gachagua launched attacks on two individuals, Alice Wahome and Ndindi Nyoro. And if you are to ask me, and in fact I did an analysis over it, the attack on Ndindi Nyoro was actually unprovoked.
Amemwambia vijana wengine hapa watengeneza kahuiru baro, watu wajifiche hapo, wanajifanya hawataki Kasongo, lakini ni watu ya Kasongo na ni huiru baro.
I am yet to understand why Rigathi Gachagua decided to attack Ndindi Nyoro, even if he had those details. Of course, the attacks on Alice Wahome was justifiable. Alice Wahome is part of William Ruto's government. And being part of William Ruto's government, and because Ruto is the target, it was just fair for Rigathi Gachagua to attack Alice Wahome. But what has shocked me is the reaction of Alice Wahome. Alice Wahome decided to organize another meeting in Murang'a County and attacked Rigathi Gachagua right in Murang'a. And I watched that Alice Wahome's event, and I paid very close attention to how the crowd reacted. You could clearly tell that the crowd were happy when Alice Wahome was attacking Rigathi Gachagua.
Ni mnataka niambie Karongo Wadhangwa nikiwa hapa nyumbani, yale alisema Jumamosi maneno ya kuiba shamba, na wachane na rais wetu, kwa sababu alisema mimi nimeimba shamba tukiwa na Kasongo. Ona mareto matirato make idhuwe, mareto matako kegiria tuwake fara. Si tuendelee na barabara, tuendelee na soko. Wangapi wanasema tuendelee na hiyo kazi? Our former deputy president, na mimi ni mtu mungwana, mumesikia siasa nyingi sana, kweli ama si kweli? Mimi sinjagusa deputy president tangu atoke kwa serikali. Hata wakati amekuwa kwa serikali, yeye ndiye alikuwa ananisumbua.
Why do you think the crowd were happy when Alice Wahome was attacking Rigathi Gachagua? Because for me, that event by Alice Wahome is likely to be a turning point as far as Mount Kenya politics is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I want us to look at that heroic reception of Alice Wahome in Murang'a County. But before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. First of all, I want you guys to listen to Rigathi Gachagua attacking Alice Wahome on that particular day.
Huyu mama wetu Alice Wahome anatumiwa na Kasongo vibaya. Si mnajua? Huyu mama amehangaika, mimi nakwambia. Nikiwa pale deputy president, aliwekewa PS Mukaleji. Ruto haongei na yeye, anaongea na huyo Sasa alikuwa anakuja kwangu, anasikia Ruto na PS wamepanga mkutano, hana habari. Sasa Alice wetu amekaa tu pale, hana kitu anafanya, hawesaidia mtu, anahangaishwa, ananyamaza tu. Na kwa sababu ni mama yetu mzee, nikamwambia vumilia tu hapo ukule mshahara kwa sababu ya watoto. Si ndio? Si ndio? Alice avumilia, sivumilie. Avumilie tu kwa sababu alisaidia huyu mtu, lakini mtu amehangaisha Alice. Alice hana sauti. Iko PS anaitwa Nixon Koril ndio mwenye kusema pale. Siku alikuwa ministry ya maji, Kasongo alikuwa amemwadikia mtu anaitwa Rono, ndio alikuwa anatawala huyu mama wetu. Alice Wahome, mama wa heshima, ametumika vibaya vile mimi nilitumika vibaya.
You see, Rigathi Gachagua is currently out of government, and therefore he can go ahead and say whatever he's been saying. But there is a problem, and this is why I insist Rigathi Gachagua needs to go back to the drawing board and sit down with his team and forge a strategic way forward, because this trajectory is not going to help him. I want you to listen to the same Rigathi Gachagua was still in government, because according to that clip, Rigathi is saying that Alice Wahome used to go to his office. Now listening to the former deputy president.
Huyu mrembo huyu Alice Mudhoni Wahome Gadaya Ruriri. This girl is doing a wonderful job. Affordable housing, Alice Wahome is doing it with a lot of efficiency. Mambo ya title deed, mambo ya registry, hata hapa ya Murang'a tulikubaliana kulikuwa na ukora, akuje arekebishe. Jana alikuwa thika. CS Alice Wahome, the president and I are very proud of you. And I want to tell the people of Murang'a, we really appreciate the caliber of the ministers you have given us in our government.
That is Rigathi Gachagua. And it is very clear that the event by Alice Wahome yesterday is going to have serious implications as far as Mount Kenya politics is concerned moving forward. In this video, I want us to look at a few implications. But first of all, let me ask you a few questions. Is Rigathi Gachagua's wave in Mount Kenya slowing down? That is the first question I want to ask you guys. Because, you know, we've been here. Luckily, I run this channel and I can always gauge the mood of the supporters of Raila, supporters of Kalonzo, supporters of Matiang'i, supporters of Rigathi, and even supporters of Wajakoya the Fifth. The question is Rigathi Gachagua's wave in the mountain slowing down? Because one thing Rigathi Gachagua succeeded when he was impeached, he made that impeachment appear as if an entire community had been impeached, which was good politics for him. But Rigathi Gachagua has been committing a mistake, which sometimes I point out here, but because his supporters were emotional, they don't listen. Rigathi Gachagua is too common on the ground and in Mount Kenya. And because of that, he's becoming common. Because of that, even Robert Greene advises us that sometimes you have to create absence to recreate. Rigathi is there every time, saying the same story, which means even his messaging is now becoming stale. The truth is, Rigathi Gachagua has told his supporters everything. He has nothing new. And that is why his supporters are, fatigue is kicking in, and that momentum is slowing down. If I were to advise Rigathi, I would advise him to now focus on other regions. He might not pick on Nyanza because he might not win there, but Rigathi strategically can go to Mombasa, strategically can go to Nakuru, strategically can go to Eldoret, strategically can go to Kakamega before camping in Mount Kenya again. The second question which I wanted to ask, could the reaction from the crowd there a sign of disapproval, especially his attacks on Ndindi Nyoro? Because remember, Alice Wahome and Ndindi Nyoro, both of them comes from Murang'a. Is it possible that the residents of Murang'a were telling Rigathi Gachagua a message that as much as we support you, please leave our sons and daughters alone? Could it have been response to the attacks on Ndindi, or I don't know, but something is just not right. The other question I wanted to ask you guys, based on the reaction and the turnout we witnessed during Alice Wahome's event, is it possible that more of William Ruto's allies will not try to come out to push back Rigathi Gachagua. Because when Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, most of the members of parliament who supported that impeachment could not even go to the ground. So they lived in fear. And if you listened to Alice Wahome very closely, she was like, I've not even attacked this guy in any event. So it means they feared attacking Rigathi. But now Alice Wahome going, organizing an event like this, and then the crowd responding like that, what does it mean? Tomorrow, another MP will gather that courage and organize a massive event. My last question on this before I give you the implication. Is there fatigue? Is fatigue kicking in amongst Rigathi Gachagua supporters? Because as we speak, the general consensus is that Rigathi Gachagua has captured Mount Kenya. But again, he cannot become the president, which means he will have to convince his supporters to support someone else. Who is that? Is the signal different? I don't know. Maybe you could tell me. But what are the implications of that heroic reception of Alice Wahome? Number one, William Ruto can actually take advantage of that and exploit it. We are talking of a person we know. We know William Ruto. We know his behavior. Probably he has realized that he's the problem in the mountain. Then he can now start facilitating people like Alice Wahome. Let's say facilitating people like, who else is supporting Ruto from the mountain? Mwangi Kiunjuri. That's very important. Ruto can take advantage of that. If Rigathi had not attacked Ndindi, if he had not attacked Alice Wahome, probably this crowd would have just chilled somewhere. Number two, the fear is gone. So more people will now come out, more leaders, to attack Rigathi. Because just like I was explaining, after his impeachment, there was a state of fear in the mountain. No leader dared talking about against Rigathi. So that fear is now gone, which is dangerous. And lastly, and this is something I keep on reminding you guys, that politics is a perceptual game. What is the perception now? The perception is even Alice Wahome can organize a very successful event. What does that tell you? Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.